Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the privacy edition. These are recorded live Fridays 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to catch the show live, engage in the comments and see it all as it happens, please feel free to stick by. Well, today we are looking at some privacy. We have some smart tech and we have some security in this section. So we might move a little bit quicker through the stories so we can make sure we get everything and keep the show length on average about what it usually is, 20-ish or so. And today we're going to start out looking at some things in Google. So Google TV is making a step towards multi-user support with kids profiles. I want to warn you about any of these services offering you kids profiles. And here is the reason why. We have in the United States a thing called COPPA. It's the Child Online Privacy and Protection Act. And this dictates that a company cannot collect data on kids. It cannot use data on kids for its various purposes without the express consent of the parents. All of these types of services that are the children's add-ons to your adult services, these include embedded in those terms of service and opt out of COPPA, meaning that now they are allowed to grab, harvest, market to, and whatever other data with it. Now, they don't do it as deeply aggressive, and the reason is they don't want to fall under the array of, the Women's Defamation League or whatever the current one is for the anti-children commercial stuff. What is it? The Council for the Ad-Free Childhood, I think. You don't want to fall into that. But now, though, you can start tying into your Google TV account kids profiles, which are going to give you it's going to give you the children type themes, and you can set your bedtimes, you can set your daily limits. That's all right. You can restrict them from watching things like Peter Pan and Dumbo because those are meant for only adults' eyes now, apparently, in our crazy, crazy world. But you can basically set what types of things the kids are watching. So there are certainly elements that are positive, and certainly there is an appeal to it that some people may like, but you got to read those fine print. This will likely opt your children out of any COPPA restrictions. And I'll just tell you guys, just be a better parent and stick to screen times and know what your kids are doing. Don't rely on the technology to tell your kids it's bedtime. That would indeed be your turn, your opportunity to do. This is good. Movie makers are now suing VPN service for promoting and facilitating piracy. And this is an interesting one. For sure, I can understand a little bit about where this suit comes from. Some of the marketing done was Liquid VPN. Some of the marketing done by Liquid VPN seemed to say, hey, use our VPN to commit illegal activity. And we don't want to use a VPN to commit illegal activity. That would be stupid. If you want to use a VPN to keep yourself private or use a VPN to make sure that you have good encrypted internet when you are hotspotting off of somebody's wireless internet at a Starbucks or something, I absolutely understand the purpose of a VPN. But to say, hey, we're going to use the VPN for the purpose of breaking the law, that becomes a problematic thing. And that's apparently what Liquid Web was doing. So he says, but again, it's a slippery slope because this is the marketing message. The lawsuit notes that Liquid VPN's website claims the service is, quote, best VPN for torrenting and P2P file sharing today, end quote. So what? It's perfectly acceptable to torrent legal things on torrents. It's perfectly acceptable to engage in peer-to-peer file sharing. As long as you're not sharing illegal content or sharing copyrighted content, and who's to say you are, who's to say you aren't? Let's go ahead and seek the evidence rather than utilizing the lawsuit for a fishing expedition. And that is really what is interesting in this article. Of course, there's an entire section of the site dedicated to Popcorn Time, the free software BitTorrent client featuring an integrated media player. I've seen Popcorn Time once or twice. I've never actually played around with it. But really they're saying, quote, the Liquid VPN defendants further state, experience everything Popcorn Time has to offer in the United States and the UK, accept the risks. Stream content anonymously. Why bother risking complaints from your ISP, settlement demands, threats, and jail time for streaming your favorite TV shows? Now, here's where their defense will probably be. And it might actually be a good one to say, hey, there's been a whole lot of people utilizing these things as means of exploitation. Usually this was centering around the pornography industry, where people they might be watching something and then the copyright owner comes down and says, well, I'm going to blast your name out to everybody if you don't settle our lawsuit off the books. And then that'll go all public and everyone will know what you're doing under the, late at night on your internets. And so some people are doing this. And to me, that almost looks like what they're saying. Now, expressly mentioning popcorn time in their marketing, if they actually did that, that would actually be a bad thing in this respect. But at the same time, yeah, I don't really want my ISP to see what I'm doing. I don't really want all of these crazy companies to do it. And if this is the way to keep your ISP from becoming the nanny state on you, then maybe that is the appropriate thing to do. Homeland Security can now apparently track Monero. So this was one of the best cryptocurrencies for privacy, and it does turn out that after contracting and paying hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars, I guess it was millions of taxpayer dollars to this company, they are now able to apparently trace Monero, meaning that it is no longer specifically privacy. Now, they are pitching this as a good thing for Monero, that it can now be traced, because Monero was recently delisted by several cryptocurrency exchanges because of the privacy element. And now they're saying, hey, now that we can track you on it, it's no longer private. You can use Monero again. And they're like, dude, the whole point of using Monero was privacy. And so if you're using Monero specifically for privacy, the days of that might be out. So hey, go ahead and look around for the next private crypto to go ahead and use. Well, T-Mobile is going to start selling your web usage data to advertisers unless you opt out. So if you are using T-Mobile, you will have received an email about it. If you have not, hunt around on the website. You have until April 26th to opt out. And T-Mobile does claim that the data sharing is going to be anonymous. They go into here, what they're basically saying is the advertising IDs are used instead of customer names. Not particularly comforting. So I guess if you can get in there and block the advertiser IDs or change it every day. Can you even do that anymore? I don't even know. I know on Apple you can, block it, you can reset it, all these types of things. Those are the types of things you would need to do. And so T-Mobile is going to start collecting all that data and just selling that to marketers. So yay, whereas if we're not already paying overpriced cell phone bills, now they're going to be profiting both ends. They're going to be profiting off of overcharging us, and then they're going to be turning around and reselling that. This type of data usage should be illegal, but it's getting to the point now where these companies are so brazen that it's no longer, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. No, now you're the product even if you are paying for it. Now, Verizon, of course, they had their snafu a while ago. AT&T does it. This is the note here from the article. AT&T automatically enrolls wireless subscribers in a basic ad program that pools them into different groups based on inferred interests, such as sports or buying a car. An enhanced version of the program shares more detailed personal information with partners from customers who opt into it. So there is a separate one you can opt into. On Verizon, likewise, pulls subscriber data before sharing inferences about them with advertisers with more detailed sharing program called Verizon Selects for users who enroll. It separates Verizon Media Division shares data against gathered through its Yahoo and AOL brands. So all of these companies are now basically effectively just marketing arms for their particular places. And that in and of itself is a somewhat problematic thing. So make sure if you are using T-Mobile that you are opting out of that information. Of course, I use Mint Mobile, tlm.li/mm for Mint Mobile, and you can actually use a prepaid credit card in Mint Mobile. You don't even have to give them your real name. All they basically need is the phone number you're going to use. They need your email address, which you can make one up on Proton or something, and give them a prepaid debit card, and that's enough. $15 a month you can get. You pay it in like 3 months at a time. You can get. I think they're up to 4. They upped their data. I think it's 4 gigs of data now. It's their lowest plan. So That's what I'm doing. So they don't have a lot of that data. They might still have the user ID. Of course, Mint Mobile does use the T-Mobile network, but since it goes to them, you might have a layer of privacy. I don't know about that one way or the other. Just something to keep in mind, that they at least don't know specific direct information because all they have is a prepaid card. So there we have it. HTC's new VR face tracker can scan your lips, tongue, and chin. There's a whole thing in here about Zuckerberg's like, hey, we don't do this yet, but this is a really good idea and I want to do it. So, yeah, be aware of that. These things are now starting to grab your facial identities, and how long before they're going to implement this into cameras in society and they're going to be able to determine if you're happy or not. The thought police are going to come and tackle you to the ground simply because it's like, his facial expression said he was mad about something. So there you have it. And EFF brings us scholars under surveillance. This is interesting. Looking at the different technologies out there, it does turn out that campus police generally have a lot more tech going on than your municipal police, which is an interesting thing. And honestly, it almost in a way makes a little bit of sense. But still at the same time, this is a little frightening. So they have some charts down here. We actually covered this a little bit before. But if you come on down to the chart, you can see who has what. So here in State College where I am, our local police don't do much of anything, although the local ordinances are trying to push the body cam stuff on them. But this local campus police, they actually have drones to deploy. So the local campus police can come and bust up your party of 3 people hanging out on the quad because you're not socially distancing or wearing a mask. They'll drone you out and Gestapo you out, but the local police just like, whatever. So there we have it. Except I think they have handed out like something like several hundred fines for social distancing orders. Yeah, I got to get out of this state, that's for sure. But they do have a lot of information here about how students are very often surveilled. We talked in the past about how some students, as a requirement for coming to campus, are required to put an app on their phone, perpetually keeping it on so they can be completely tracked all through campus. When is that little Star of David going to show up? I just really want to know. So that's kind of terrifying and frightening stuff. And on to our final article brought to us from Breitbart. Oh, you like them or you hate them, who knows? But they say here, China is using emotion recognition technology to arrest people. And we actually talked a little bit about this in the past. In fact, I said, yeah, this is going to be used against them in bad ways. So people in some service industries, like if you're the train operator or a bus driver, they are required in China to wear these hats which monitor all the things. And then some guys behind the telly screen there watching you all the time. If you show any signs that look like you're tired or distressed or anything like that, they're going to force you to take a break or whatever else. So they're moving now beyond this and starting arresting people. So China's state-run Global Times posted an article on Thursday that Chinese people are increasingly becoming accustomed to the use of emotion recognition technology, artificial intelligence that allows the government to track human feelings as a part of everyday life. And so what they're talking about in here is they're utilizing this emotional detection, and they have here, they illustrated the usefulness of the technology with an example in which police arrest passengers of a car after using artificial intelligence to discover drugs in the car. Emotion recognition technology tells the officers that the passengers are more nervous than the average person at a checkpoint, which they use as an excuse to search the car. See, here in the United States, they just take a drug dog, walk around the car, and the officer simply says, hey, I think there's something in here, so I'm going to execute a search. But the dog hit. What did the dog do to hit? Oh, he turned around and sniffed his butt once, I guess. I don't know, because I've seen some of these videos of these dogs hitting on the car. It's like, well, the handler is specially trained to identify it. If it's so specially trained that he has to identify it, I'm sorry, you don't have a legitimate hit on the car. And the same thing goes on for here. They have this emotional recognition software. Oh, you're a little bit more nervous than somebody else. We're going to use this as an excuse to search you. And yeah, oh, we found something. You're arrested now. So now the thought police are coming for you. If they detect that you are a more heightened, de-emotionalized state, then I guess they'll just go ahead and use this as a way to just find some dirt on you. I mean, you can be, cited for expectorating on the city sidewalks most places. That would be spitting on the sidewalk. So watch out if you hog a loogie out in front of the police station. But I guess that's the world that we find ourselves in. Well, if you would like to have a look at helping to support the channel, you can have a look at our VPN. ExpressVPN is our affiliate link for today. You can connect up to 5 devices. You can even, one of those devices could be a router, which is routing all of your traffic through a VPN. You can whitelist certain services to not require the VPN for those particular services. So you can buy this and then use it across a variety of different hardware devices that you have. So you can get for $100 an entire year of VPN service through ExpressVPN. $60 gets you 6 months and $12.95 for a single month. So have a look at those, and let's go ahead and jump on over to, I think we're doing smart news next. So first on smart tech, the very first smart speaker that had Cortana is getting Cortana removed. Actually, that already happened by now. March 10th, an update happened where the only smart speaker that used Cortana had Cortana stripped out of it because I guess Cortana is so bad nobody wanted to use it in a speaker. Like, who is using Cortana in a speaker? I would really like to meet these people. Like, are they like, is it a nutcase? I mean, really, what's going on? But anyway, oh yes, talking about children's stuff, now the FitBit Ace 3 leaks with new colors, tweaked designs, is reportedly launching March 15th. This, by the way, is the Fitbit for your children. May I remind you now that Google now owns Fitbit, and that whole thing I said earlier in the show about being careful what you sign your kids up for, these companies are able to collect it. It gets around COPA. And don't forget that Fitbit is now owned by Google. And so now you want to give your children's health data to Google. Y'all need a checkup from the neck up if you're buying these things. Let me tell you that. We do have the cool boy version. It's got a little disco ball here. I guess this is the girls version. Very, very gender-esque. And isn't that sexist now? Why do we not have the pink hairs whining and yelling and creaming about these, where clearly the girls' watch is purple and has the unicorn, and the boys' watch is black and red and cool and has a disco ball? This is like sexist all the way, guys. I wonder if that girls' one costs more than the boys' one. I mean, come on. Here's the boys' depiction again. Oh, we got some space scenes over here. And then it's the girls with a little unicorn over here. So there you have it, guys. This is the Fitbit for your little children. Lasts for up to about a week or so on a single battery charge so that you can give all your fitness data for your children up to Google now as well. There we have it, folks. We got problems. All right. So I guess you have to watch ads everywhere now on your $1,500 TV. Yeah, you buy your amazing, I bought me a new 4K $1,500 smart TV. This thing's dual overhead cam sitting near the bush. All right. And I'm telling you guys, you're buying all these amazing stuff, and now they're going to be pushing ads all over the place. You know what doesn't push ads, guys? I have a Raspberry Pi on the back of my dumb TV with which interfaces with my NAS, and I can watch any movie I have. I actually have access to internet things. You can do access to YouTube. I don't do access to YouTube on it, so I let my APIs expire. But you can do that, not a big deal. You can do, you can do BitChute on it. You can grab a lot of other things, a lot of other services, live streaming TV, all that kind of stuff without the ads on a Raspberry Pi in the back of your dumb TV. So I'm not sure why you pay $1,500 for an amazing TV to get advertised to, but this is the world where we are moving into. Yay! Advertisements absolutely everywhere, including where I've already paid a lot of money for things. And our final article, an OVH data center burns down, knocking several major sites offline. Even their redundancies were destroyed. So they said, all right, guys, our faithful customers, it is time now for you to deploy your catastrophe plans. Oh, you don't have a catastrophe plan? Well, screw you then. You read the terms of service. We don't have any of your data anymore. This, guys, is why you need to have on-site and off-site backups. You need to be prepared for circumstances and situations like this. This is somewhat catastrophic. Is this because OVH is terrible? No. I mean, I've not had good experience with them in the past, but they're not necessarily a terrible company. It just happens that, yeah, they all just kind of burnt down, and that knocked a lot of stuff. OVH is basically one of the biggest cloud hosting servers that's not in the United States. They do host a lot of websites and a lot of data knocked down because of this. So there we have it, guys. Why is this in smart? Simply because all that smart tech could have been on those OVH servers. Guys, this is the time to not restart it. Yes, catastrophic loss of all these IoT devices. Let's move forward in a brave new world of no IoT. Well, you can head on over to the Subscribe Star page if you'd like to help support the channel. Subscribestar.com/switch2linux. You can jump on in over there. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video from Switched2Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.